Hey guys, Jason Lawrence, J-Law Fitness. So today, I want to kind of finish up the delt series that I've kind of been going through, and I want to talk about the lateral delt. So we're talking lateral delt, we're talking this muscle right through this area here. So the lateral delt is easier as far as what motions it does. So we talked about the anterior and the posterior delt having some different motions that they contribute to in the shoulder. The lateral delt for the most part is just coming right up into that abduction. Okay, so right up to the side. Now the difficulty I feel with the lateral delt is kind of the same as the posterior one. It's a very hard one to single out, to really focus on with that mind-muscle connection. So it's really important that you really practice, trying to maintain that muscle integration that you're looking for in the delt, and not doing so much of this upper trap, when you're trying to bring that arm up, because that is a really common thing for people to do. They start raising the arm and it's getting heavy, and they kind of start doing this with their upper trap. We don't want that compensation. It can cause strains. You're not working the muscle the way that you want. So especially with the lateral delt, start really light on the weights. Make sure you're getting the form right before you start moving up on weights. So I want to jump right into the different exercises here. So normally, most people want to kind of do this motion out here to the side. So we're kind of just keeping the arm straight, bringing it up to the side, which is good. That's an effective way to work that lateral delt, but it's not the most powerful move that you can. I mean, the delts, all three of them, they're powerful muscles. I mean, I know they're not very large muscles per se, but they can handle a lot of weight if you put them in the right position. So first I want to talk a little bit about that. So instead of being all the way extended, you want to have the arm maybe more in here, so you're more bent arm, like a 90-degree bend. So then when you're coming up and you're coming out to the side, I'm lifting heavier weight, and I don't have that super long moment arm. Like, it's the difference between having the weight out here and I have this huge long moment arm as opposed to in here. So I'm still lifting the same amount of weight regardless of where I am, but it's heavier out here, and you're not lifting as much weight because of this long moment arm. So you're going to get a lot more size if you keep your arm more in like this. Okay, but I still think it's important to work both. I think it's important to work out of this range, to really work on getting that size, but here too to really work on ultimate control of that lateral delt. So this first exercise is the bent arm delt raise. You want to get just a little bit of a forward lean, because that's going to really align the lateral delt to get the best work out of it. And then you're trying to raise it up and then come back down. And raise up and come back down. And make sure you're really squeezing that delt muscle and not doing this. Okay? Now the other one is just what I talked about. So you get that little bit forward lean, and then you're bringing it up to the side and back down. Now one way that you can really work to try to engage this and make sure that you're doing the right muscle is that you actually pull it up into this position first, because I pull it here and I can really feel that working already. I have it up in that position, I'm really working it, keeping my trap relaxed, and then I extend it out. And then I can go down and squeeze back up. Okay? The next one I want to talk about takes into consideration what the rotator cuff muscle does. So you have the supraspinatus that's up there that really contributes to roughly about 15 degrees of that initial abduction. So if you start all the way at the bottom here, you're getting work from that rotator cuff muscle a little bit before you start getting more initiation in that lateral delt. So a lot of times I find it more effective if I bring that weight up, I make sure I have that strong contraction in my lateral delt, I kick it out, and then I come maybe 3/4 to halfway down and then come right back up. So 3/4 to halfway down and then back up. And then if you really want to really push it, you can hold it here and then try to extend up a little bit. Come up a little higher and then come down. And that'll give you a lot more on that delt there. And you can do that with both. You can do that with your arm in. So when we're in this position, coming up and coming down about 1/2 to 3/4 and then back up again. Or you can do it out with the long moment arm too. Very effective. Like I said, I would recommend doing both, because I think both of them are very effective. Now, the last thing I want to show you, let me get a band here. So So this last one is done more with this band. Ideally, I would normally have my handle on here, but I don't have my handle on here right now. So you can do this with a band. You can do this with a pulley system if you have a pulley system. I actually like the pulley system better, but I don't have one that I can go up from the floor in my gym here. So that's why I'm more interested in using the band. So same thing, you get that little bit of a forward lean. You're kind of starting here about 3/4 of the way, and you're bringing it all the way up, and then control it back down, and all the way up, and control it back down. Okay, so it's the same thing there. You're just getting resistance with the band instead. Now, the difference, usually with the dumbbells, when you're starting out, usually that hardest portion when you're first lifting is where you get the most resistance with the dumbbells. With the band, because it's lighter when it doesn't have as much tension in it, usually you get the most resistance at the top. So you can work each one individually. You can also really turn this up a notch and have the band and the dumbbell, and that way at the bottom it's still intense when you're starting with the dumbbell, and then when you get to the top you have that intensity from the band. So you're trying to really squeeze and then back down. Now I felt that a whole bunch. This is only 8 pounds, and this is a 40-pound resistance band. But I tell you what, when I got up to the top there, it's almost hard for me to maintain form a little bit there, which is good. It's really challenging. So you don't need a lot to make that happen. So that's about it for the lateral delt. We covered all 3 delts now, and we'll see you next video, guys.